Yes, I take on a lot of sacrifices in my life, including for the lady who did this duet with me. And I live a life that I wish was not solo, but that is solo. And so it is hard for a social creature such as myself, who enjoys social interactions of quality, to go solo in my life, but that's the way it has to be. So there's nobody else on the same path of global culture repair reparation as me. So I'm just doing a little clarification post Master of Science ECO 700 2022. Again, if you want to use these people, you can use them in the same way that the new ecological paradigm was used. Again, you do not understand what these numbers are, but I would be willing to explain it in collaboration with a peer if I could find that elusive Homo sapien. Again, if you rewrite these, just make them all the same font and design. I just separated them like this, as you know from looking at and studying the old one that I'm talking about. And again, and you'll see also here is I changed a letter from the one that was there before. Where is that letter here? You see this letter here? So you can unbold this, unbold everything when you use this, and mix up the numbers and mix them up, many times, because I recommend you do this with the same people over, let's say, every 6 months, when they, let's say, watch a documentary about something, or they finish another semester in a program. Like VIU, if they tested to see in their Master of Science in Sustainable Leisure Management, which nobody defined the same way, but I defined very well in the letter where I fired them, is you could see if it made a difference to take their program by testing students with this before and after. Now, yes, you'll find some of the language I didn't want to compromise in here, but what you can do when you design this is, let's say, having, let's say number 18 is if people have questions when they fill this out, and it's easy, they just agree or disagree on a scale, right? Is you can have just 3 different rewrites of this same number, and instead of answering so as to not sway opinion, you would show on a page they would have access to is this same question, but rewritten in different ways, but without compromising. For example, you have to say the word catastrophe, and you have to say environmental, because those are words that most people understanding English would be using, but you can rearrange the sentence, and then they might say, I still don't understand, and that's okay, just let them answer what they want. But give them like 3 different alternatives for the way I phrase this, but without changing what the specialist would probably know where I'm getting at with this one, okay? And the last thing I wanted to say, hold on. Well, I think I said everything, but it's important that there's 21. Like, don't delete anything. Just make them all not bold. Get rid of these numbers that are mine to use, unless you guys want to start doing real science with me. And then I won't be the only one swimming in the other direction of the river of the biggest failed species' biggest gigantic proto-civilization collapse that will take the biggest chunk out of life on this planet that is coming up very soon. And then if you start this, even if the crash cannot be stopped and it's on its way, starting this and talking about it and spreading it as much as possible will be a beginning to rebuilding something for your descendants that will be so confused with dysfunctional brains without taking a Humanix program as well. And again, I'm not teaching socio-cybernetics to anybody that hasn't mastered Humanix and doesn't have a very well verified years of living a life of having an ecocentric worldview. Otherwise, you are a devastatingly dangerous species without the Humanix and the ecocentric worldview.